February 3rd, 2006. It was a Friday. Austin and I moved into a safe house in North Vancouver. A social worker drove us there. Social workers visited us while we were there. It was well documented that we were fleeing abuse, and obviously, well, to most people, to sane people, it's obvious that you get in a safe house because you're fleeing abuse. To these fucked up social workers that are currently handling my son's case, they seem to think it was a vacation because they don't acknowledge that we were fleeing any abuse. They don't even acknowledge that Alice Sellers is an unsafe person. They don't acknowledge that she's mentally ill or violent. They don't acknowledge she's abusing my child or that she abused me my entire life. And, well, clearly she's still currently abusing me. Now that she's gotten her claws into my child, she's using him to torture me. And that was her whole point of this, was revenge. Because I escaped her abuse. So how dare I? Like, she stormed out of a courtroom after a judge denied her any access to my child. She stated that she was going to get Austin one way or another. And now she either paid off a social worker or conned some idiot social worker who doesn't know how to read a file into basically abducting my child and giving him to her. And nobody has seen or heard from him in 3.5 years. Now, if there was nothing wrong with the system, then, and there was a legitimate reason for my child to be removed, then he would be in a foster home with contact to me and his other friends and family. Instead, he's being hostage from anybody he's ever known in his entire life. Not one person he's ever known has seen or spoken to him in 3.5 years. That's a hostage. That means they're hiding something. And something is majorly wrong with this picture. There's so much evidence against these people, and the only person who has the power to do anything is a judge. And because I'm dealing with the fucked up government system, they keep playing games and preventing me from being able to see a judge. And so my child is paying the price of this fucked up corrupt system. And Alice Sellers, the Wicked Witch of West Vancouver, is getting away with child abuse once again. She now has another victim to abuse. It's really fucked up that this is Canada. You'd think that we're more evolved than this and that this kind of shit and abuse doesn't happen here. But it does. You can go online and see many other horror stories and see how the numbers of kids that die in foster care every year is great. And it's never spoken about. These people have too much power to abuse our children, just as the head of MCFD a few years ago was caught having a child porn ring. Really? And then they get mad when we question them and want answers as to what the hell they're doing with our children. They just want to say that because they have a flippin' title behind their name, that they're protecting our children and doing what is right, and that they know better than we do. If they know so well and they're protecting our children, then why are they caught abusing children? And why are so many kids dying in their care? And why are so many kids killing themselves as soon as they get out of foster care because they can't cope in the real world because they've been abused in the foster system? These monsters think we have no right to question them, yet they're abusing our children. And they're getting away with it because they answer to no one and they just cover up for themselves, cover up for each other, just like dealing with corrupt cops. It's like banging your head against a brick wall. So it doesn't matter that it was well documented by social workers who helped us escape abuse. Now, some new fucked up ones have gone and undone all of the efforts that Austin and I made to rebuild a life free from fear, because they've thrown it all out the window. I mean, hell, why did they even drop us off at the safe house? Why didn't they just take us straight back to Alice's house right then and there, if this is what they were going to do? And if she's such a good person and such a great role model, why didn't they take my child back there? Why didn't they take me and Austin right back to that house instead of the safe house? And why doesn't she have other foster children living in that house? If it's such a safe place and none of those people are mentally ill or violent and they're such great role models and Frank's not an alcoholic, battered husband and Tina's not a psycho, violent, crazy person who's tried to kill me with knives on many occasions. If these people are also mentally stable, why do they not have a house full of foster children? And why, when they've had ESL students, have they all chosen to move out of that house? Doesn't that tell you something? People don't want to live in that house because it's not sane and it's not safe. And nobody is helping my child escape. Everybody just keeps covering this shit up.